Hey guys, how's it all going? We're going to do a random game against a supposed beginner. I've played the English opening, which I don't really know at all. So let's bring out the knight to c3. The idea is I'd like to play d4, but e5 has prevented that kind of from the time being. I mean, I could still play it, get my queen out, attacks this. All right. I'm thinking about how I get my bishops out now. I think knight to here is a reasonable move. He can't push the pawn because my knight will take it. I think e5 is the correct move against the English. But I'm not an English player. I'm an English player, I'm not an English player. Okay, that kind of defends. I could come here and annoy the bishop. That's a nice place to be. Does mean moving the knight a second time. Here he's got two attackers, so takes, knight takes, queen takes is pretty aggressive actually. So I'm going to go for the center. If he pushes, I can swing my knight around. If he does neither, if he doesn't take and he doesn't push, I might push d5 with tempo, hitting the knight. This bishop's not coming out soon, so I don't really have to worry about c2. I can always kick the knight again from there though. Not playing brilliant today. Okay, he's pushed. I can actually take that knight, that pawn, sorry. So let's go ahead and take. Don't know what's going to happen now. There's no checks. Oh, there's that one. Okay, now I'm going to take the bishop. Don't want to take the knight, right? If I take the knight, queen takes. Black's ready to castle and has three pieces out on the board. And a very normal pawn structure. If I take the bishop with check, the only way to recapture is with the c pawn, give him doubled isolated queen's pawns. This pawn is safe. I'm going to come out, get this bishop out so I can push e3. An extra defend this pawn, and also extra defend this pawn with a discovered defense by the bishop. Then probably get the bishop out, short castle, and crack on. So I'm pleased that I had this kind of structure with the knight here. This is, I think, very much the idea with a lot of these openings, the d4 openings and the c4. Okay, I'll drop back. Yeah, see if he wants to double kick. This knight is still pinned. If it moves, the queen is gone. This pawn is undefended as things stand. Okay, so now I think I can push e3. So we have a nice pawn chain here, and this pawn is now defended by my bishop. My bishop's probably going to come to d3, particularly now this corner is slightly compromised. Opponent has no dark squared bishop. Instead has two knights. Another idea could be to bring my light. Oh, he's double kicked. He has, he's gone and done it. So I think I might just retreat here. I'll let him do that. This pawn's actually hanging now. And he really has hung his king out a little bit there, hasn't he? So what I was going to say is I could actually swing my bishop round in two moves to c2, put the queen in front, try and take out this knight, which I can't do now. I mean, I had a bishop on here that could have taken the knight before the pawn advanced. So we need different plans now. Okay, saved the pawn. If I take knight takes, I think that's okay. Means he's not developing. I can now bring my bishop out to c4, maybe. Not only targeting the knight, but also pinning this pawn once the knight moves, if it moves. Because there's no real good way to defend it other than that move, which I can block with my queen. If queen takes, knight takes, that's okay. So does he find queen a5 check? I can also block with the knight, but I'd rather develop. I do have a better system structure here. Alright, so he's looking at my bishop. Let's drop bishop back. Now this is nice. This is now on a defended square because the a pawn defends the bishop, and his knights are now well out of the way. Not going to cause anyone any trouble up that end of the board. Okay, now he's shut off this diagonal. That's fine. Let's castle. Centralizing the knight looks good. He could trade off, but makes my bishop good. All right. Okay, now I think I can kick this bishop. He might retreat to there. If he does retreat, this knight's still pinned. Could put queen there, bishop back here, and then move the queen so that the bishop defends the knight. It's a bit convoluted. I think centralizing this rook makes some sense onto the c file. It's open. Another option I've got as well is to move this bishop and then play g4, driving the bishop back there where it's relatively harmless. So now actually queen d3, bishop c2, mate looks a lot more enticing. Well, my queen there first. I've got knight here, so I might drop the bishop back to c2 first, then this, and if he... Okay, he's taken. Right, so we take back with the queen. Yep. Rook a c1 looks good. Bishop to here looks good. It can be kicked. Oh, I have two attackers on here. It is defended twice as things stand. That means that those two pieces have to keep defending that pawn. It's a key pawn because it's in the way of a very important diagonal, and it's stopping this pawn from being pinned and double attacked. I think rook ac1 is my most natural looking next move, assuming my opponent doesn't do anything super aggressive. Okay, so he's swinging the knight around. Alright, so kind of like this. Could have played that as well, but this is on the aggressive side. Now I can't advance my queen to this diagonal. Is he going to put his knight here? I can wipe it out if I want to then. Pawn takes, hanging the queen. He's also got three defenders on here now, so I'm just like stating the facts about the position, because the sum total of all those facts then gives you something to work with. Okay, interesting move. Yeah, didn't see that one. So he's threatening to come in here. Now he might take out this pawn. So let's bring my queen back, which means he can't come here with a fork, but he can nab this pawn if he wants to. Very interesting. I could push here, maybe. Could improve my bishop, really eyeing up that corner. This pawn is undefended, so queen h5 is an idea. King here, bishop might come in with check, but assuming he captures this pawn. So I think if he does, I might play queen h5, threatening this. King could come to h7 actually as well. I actually also just have this as well, now that I've dropped queenie back. So he might have done me a favour. Having said that, if he does that, I can't play queen d3. First I've got to kick the knight away. So if he takes here, and I kick him, He can't go there because my bishop takes. He'll have to go back to that square. Then I can come here with a checkmate threat. He's having to think now. It's a sunny day out there. You never know who you're going to get at these. I kind of like this chess dogging. You just play with random strangers. Okay, are you taking here? You are. Now I could kind of win the knight. I could sack the bishop there with check and win the knight. But there's nothing massively gained by that. This is a decent improving move, but I think rook AB1, knight has to go back here. Then I can come here with a checkmate threat. And what's my opponent going to do? F5 is a likely candidate. It's defended by knight and rook there. I've also got bishop here, but that kind of defeats the object. Is this an F5? Yeah. Or can we do this now? If I do this and he pushes F5, I could push my pawn actually. He can't take because the pawn defends the knight. He might want to come in here though, that's a bit of a pain. There's a hanging pawn there. Let's grab the hanging pawn. Gives him something to think about. Could even double up if I wanted to. He still has that move though. Now queen d3 prevents knight a3, which is quite good. That might be worth considering. Note this rook is hanging right now. Well, it's not hanging, it's undefended. Hanging is it's undefended or underdefended and under attack, i.e. en prise is the French term. But he's not under attack right now. The opponent's playing a decent game. I don't think this is an 800 game. I think this is more like a 1000. I don't know if I'm playing 1000 level. We shall see. I'm trying to think at that level. Again, is this move on? Looks like it's just blocking off the diagonal I'd like to use. Again, here, the king's going to be forced there, I think. Notice my bishop can't come to here because of the knight while it's still there. So I do like my pawn structure right now. Okay, this knight has moved. Now, what does that mean for the game? Well, it wasn't doing an awful lot where it was. He's not coming in here or here. Or there, really. Does he want to come there? Don't think so. My rook's now attacking this. So here... quite like my rook there. Here, king goes there. This pawn is then pinned on the king. Oh, he can't do that because my queen is then looking at this pawn. Okay, so let's think this through. Queen here. There. And then my bishop can't do that. Okay. Do I double up my rooks on there? That looks pretty good. Just in general, it feels like an improving move. He can go there while the knight defends, but I'm still thinking about this e4 move. Maybe with the idea of e5 if I can. But right now, again, he's got one. Hang on. No, he's only got the pawn for now. e5 is better defended because it's got both knights on it, but e4, he's only got the pawn, and then we've got queen takes with the checkmate threat. Ooh, the rook trap. Okay, can I throw this in? So he's trying to trap my rook, but what's he going to capture it with? That? Is that the idea? I mean, I could always win a pawn and a knight for my rook. Might hang this though as well. I could come here with a checkmate threat. So what's he going to do in that case? F5? He can't play there because I've got a bishop looking at that. I think this must be his idea. I can drop my queen to d2, prevents that. This checkmate threat, what does he do? I think it's f5. So this is the knight he wants to attack with. So I'm going to throw this in, just for now. See if I can tempt him to take that knight away. He can attack my rook with his queen there. Apologies for the dog sounds. There we go. Okay, he's done that. That's not too bad. Okay, I'm going to do this just for now, quickly. So he can't. Bentley, shut up. No, he can't take the rook because he gets mated. So I think he's going to have to push his pawn. Can't see any other solution for it. Oh, but if the pawn moves, I've got a check there. That's nice. That's nice. Hello, my love. This is Sasha. She's on her last legs, aren't you, my love? 12 years old. And she's been poorly for 2 years, but she's done really, really well. Hello. You okay? And she's had a duck egg today, haven't you, my lovely? Right, what a fascinating game. It's just a whole different way to play completely casually. Just to do it not logged in and just get a completely random experience. Okay, opponent's down under 7 minutes now. This is definitely causing some thought. Okay, this simply doesn't work. That doesn't work. I think f5 has to be played. The problem with that is I come here with check, then the king's forced there, then I can like grab a pawn for free. This is the windmill that we talked about. There's actually 2 free pawns. So you look at anything on the lines from where the rook is. Yeah, you're in a bit of a pickle. So the English opening reversed Sicilian, this was. Yeah, so I played pawn to c4, and this is the mirror image of the Sicilian, which is the other way around. So if you're a Sicilian player with the black pieces, you might consider playing the English with the white pieces. Levy says don't play the English, though. If you are beginner improving level, check out that video. I think it's like everyone should stop playing these 4 openings now by Gotham Chess. Definitely worth a look. Alright, now he's really having a think. What are you going to do? I hope he pushes f5 so we get to see the windmill tactic. But he may just have given up the ghost. We'll see. So he's played over a minute a couple of times. This is probably his longest think, though, unless he's just wandered off. Let's see what he does. I think you can still analyse these games, because it will give you the PGN, I think, at the end of the game, offer you the PGN, and then you can log in and then analyse that in your own time. When you complete a game, you can go back through the moves and it will give you the evaluation, but it won't give you lines, so you can't really use the full stockfish. But now he's coming down to 4 minutes, so I've got a horrible feeling he's done one, which would be a shame, big shame. Maybe he's decided he's beaten. Oh no, queen takes, mate. Boom, interesting, right. So, what we can do, oh, he wants another game, shall we? Go on, sod it, why not? And of course you can't chat either, so what do we get? Let's play a Scandi. I've not played a Scandi in ages. I could have played a French as well. Okay, he advances. Right, I think what I want to do is get my bishop out so I can push e6 and just solidify here. Might do this. Ooh, that's in the way of the bishop though. Alright, so this is all normal. I think e6 now. My bishop's outside the pawn chain. c5 now. Attacks this pawn, creates tension. If he takes, I recapture. This is all very familiar. It's like a kind of mirror Vienna. I don't have my queen's knight out. So no, it's not like a mirror of the Vienna. It's like what you play in the Vienna with white, but on this side of the board with f4, which was really the kind of inspiration of the whole Freddy Krueger idea. Okay, out he comes. Right, let's play c5. Queen can't come out. Always check him. Now, if takes, I have bishop takes, and that's good for me. Actually gives me a kind of the leading role, because I've then got 2 pieces out. White has 1 piece out with white to play, so it's meaning that white is more or less now the player with the black pieces. Okay, I'm going to take, just because I'm capturing towards the centre. That's principled. I have knight c6 as well, so however he recaptures, he might recapture with the knight, in which case I need to think what to do with this bishop. I might just drop it back again, stick it on a very solid square. I understand that Bobby Fischer was a big fan of this move. Bringing the bishop out to the Italian square and then dropping back where it's defended by 2 pawns. Oh, queen took. Alright, now I can hit the queen. She might come here. This pawn's hanging though. If I take that, it protects that square. If I do this and queen goes there, I can't then take this pawn. This is also nice. Could play my knight to here with the idea of bishop to there, which is a nice position for the bishop. But do we want to grab that pawn? Do we? This pawn could come and make a mess of my centre. Now, does he have... The only check he's got is that, I think. He's also got the bishop out with check, which can be blocked with the knight. Let's do this idea. Or do I take the pawn? I don't know. I don't think b6, bishop c5. I don't know. Knight. Here, queen across, other knight. No, I want to bring out the bishop first. So I'm going to do this idea. It's a developing move. He's not going to capture here, although he's got 2 pieces, because he loses his queen for a rook and a pawn. That's not worth it. So I still have this idea. So it's just like a jam, really, isn't it? You turn up, you don't play your normal set, you don't play the songs you know, you're just going to turn up and jam with another musician at random. Okay, here doesn't work. He takes with... Oh, then knight takes. No, it's not a knight, it's a bishop. Ah! Well spotted, Hunty. Okay, I'm going to put the question to this bishop. I think if opponent wants to give up the bishop pair, I should allow him to do so. Okay, queen takes. This is fine. Maybe rook here and develop the bishop with tempo. That also puts extra pressure down here, not that the pawn isn't already hanging. If he castles, I think that's on the slow side. My knight is slightly annoyed. By this advanced pawn. I have the option, I could push f6, takes, knight takes. That's not bad. Yeah, it breaks my pawn on the f file, but I still have these two central pawns, which are fine. That doesn't work, because queen can just take it. Don't like that very much. I think my knight wants to come here, but if my knight does go there, then... So maybe it is rook c8, bishop c5, with tempo, hitting the queen. She can't go there, there, there. Or there, or there. Or there. So, if I do that, she's got a few options. Rook c8 is not a bad idea. I mean, it is a semi-open file. It's my only semi-open file because I've got pawns on every other one, haven't I? So rook here is a principal move. But also I should be thinking about development. But the point about rook there is it's an aid to development. I could also just grab the pawn. Queen defends, defends. So the rook's free to move. I'm not really creating a mad weakness there. And it prepares for this and prepares for this. Knight could then come around to g6, attacking this pawn. So that is, I think, my default, but we'll see what white chooses to do on the next turn. And white right now is choosing to have a damn good think, which is nice to see. Another idea, hang on, in two moves is this. Knight out to here also hits the queen with tempo, and it's not a bad square for the knight. It's hitting this loose pawn once. Could bring my queen over, and it's out the bishop's way then. My bishop's then quite free to develop. We shall see. A couple of ideas. That's one. This is two. They're both two moves. Which is best? That gets the rook on the semi-open and develops the bishop, preparing to develop the knight. Okay, so that's two. Well, it's more than that, isn't it, really? It's, well, 1, 2. Then I get a tempo. So I kind of win a turn back that way. But the same thing happens here. I invest two moves, I win a turn back because opponent again has to move the queen. So how do you evaluate? Both ways I still have to move the bishop before I can castle. So there's no real difference there. I kind of fancy this one for some reason. And then that immediate strike with tempo. It's a good square for the bishop too. Is this a good square for the knight? Well, it's not bad. My opponent could still castle either way. So I don't really know which side of the board my knight needs to be heading to. I mean, my knight could still want to come to g6, for example. He's thinking it all through, though. You see the importance of using your opponent's time to think. Another move is something like this. It prevents castling for one thing, and it attacks the b pawn, but that is defended by the queen. So I'm still leaning towards this idea. Oh, Okay, well, my first instinct is to take out the knight. Then they've got doubled isolated A pawns and an isolated C pawn. I could even on the next turn grab this pawn. So I'm doing it. Just doing it straight out. Right? I've developed my bishop and done something relatively useful in one go, and now I'm just going to bring the knight out anyway. Knight can still come to c6. So I'm using plan number 2. Right? I didn't automatically play plan A, so that makes this plan B, not plan 2, obviously. This pawn hangs, mate. I'm also ready to castle. Material is equal. Development is equal. Both sides have a queen and a rook, a knight and a bishop out on the board. My knight is destined to come to here, hitting the queen and the e5 pawn, which is a thorn in my side, or has been. I like castles too. Still like rook c8 as a general decent move. Pawn still hangs, but pawn is isolated. It's not like this is a very solid pawn. I can probably pick this pawn off at any time. This one as well is a very weak pawn. Queen here attacks both, but does actually hang the queen, which is a good spot. He's thinking again. So there's no chat either when you're not logged in. So everyone's an international player. Obviously, it doesn't know where you're from. I can't talk to him or her or it. I don't know who we're playing. Took 4.5 minutes over his last move, or second to last move. And I took 18 seconds to decide to eliminate the knight. And I have given up the bishop pair as well. Now we have opposite coloured bishops. He's got a dark squared bishop. I've got a light squared one. That can make life less interesting in the endgame, because the bishops can actually hold off a large number of pawns and can never interact with each other. They're literally, one has the ring on and is invisible. And as far as the other one's concerned, the same. They literally cannot see each other. He's having a good think now. Come on, white. Everyone's getting bored. This is the default plan. Because this knight is really not in a clever position where he is. This is a slight improvement. This is a slight improvement. Both of them actually look at that pawn. But this is a better one, I think, because it comes with tempo on the queen. Okay, he's now down to 6.5 minutes. I'm still on 14. There's my default move. So I've had a couple of people say I actually quite like this series of the incognito games against randoms. Someone else said, no, I like it when you play people your own rating. But today, I'm just too dopey to play competitively. I know I've played 6 or 7 10-minute games, and I think I won 1 of them. Another one I met a cheater, which you'll see in a separate video. There's Morgan coming in to say, do the kittens want to feed? Okay, what are you doing now? What are you doing? There's no way of analysing the last game now. I think the PGN has just been washed downstream. I can't even say, are you still there? We just have to assume that he is. But if he disappears, then I'll erase this part of the video so you'll never see it. And we might just do a quick analysis. I don't know. I hope the idea comes across that we're looking at principles over theory. You can be very good at chess. You can probably get up towards 2000 without learning any theory. Probably. I reckon you can probably get to 1500 for sure. If you give yourself enough time and you take the time and you apply calculation as well as opening principles in the opening, you should do okay. Obviously, there's always going to be the odd trick that your opponent just knows, and that can be very hard to work out. You can play a load of natural moves, and oh wow, activity. There we go. So 5 minutes 12, man. 5 minutes 12. Okay, here we go. Oh, hello. Right then. I can't do well. I mean, no, I can. It loses a pawn. That also defends this as well. So that was a reasonable move. I'm going to play this move, I think. Yes. If he does this, he's not threatening mate because I've got knight, queen and king all defending e7. So there's no real threat there. I could push h6 at some point to discourage either of these pieces from coming to g5. So next, for example, I could capture this pawn for free because it comes with tempo against the queen. My rook is defended by my queen. Four minutes 10. It is a 15 plus 10, so he has got an increment if he needs it. So what I need to be sure about is that if we go down to the wire, that I have a stronger position, because that will definitely benefit me with the increment. Sometimes if you play like a 10-0, it also counts as rapid, but there's no increment. So sometimes, I mean, I've won a bunch of games simply by just creating too much pressure for my opponent. Okay, I'm going to trade queens. It means I get to castle, and this pawn is now pretty much offside. This guy's never going to be able to defend it. Okay, now I castle. I could have grabbed this pawn as well, making this completely isolated, but is that pawn ever going to come to the defense of this one? I really don't know. I think he should move it now. But for example, all I have to do is move my knight, and I'm attacking it twice. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Jesus. Okay. Wow. That simply hangs the knight. I think he's running out of time, and he's bottled it. If this pawn advances, actually the knight can just snatch it off as well. So I think that's just lost the game. I do. I've got two attackers on this pawn. If he pushes it, makes no difference. My rook can capture. My knight is guarding d7. So my rooks are fine to use the c8 square. And I think we're good. Opponent's now 250. Right, I'm not convinced with that. I could take with a rook. Should I take with a rook and then bring this rook across? Or do I take with the bishop? I take with the rook. If he brings either rook to here, I just double up. Again, pawn to d7 is not a threat because my knight guards. This might be annoying, but then I just stick my knight on d7, where his bishop, because it's a dark squared bishop, can't do anything about it. The knight can just sit pretty. Okay, so rook f c8. This would be rook 2 c8. And still this is not a problem. I may even just play that move anyway. Okay, let's just do this. Oh, it drops the rook. I just hung the rook. I should have taken. Oh no, it's defended by the bishop. Thank you. I knew that. I knew that. This is how I'm playing today, you know. I can invest loads of time in building up a strong position, and then I just shoot myself in the face with a sawn-off shotgun by playing silly Billy moves. Okay, given the chance, I'm going to trade off a rook because I'm up an entire piece and a pawn. Okay, so we recapture. Probably do this. And what are we thinking about now? Okay, I think I'm going to come here. And that's the plan. Stop it. See, these pawns are no threat. He's got 2 pawns here and they can't do a damn thing because they're just going to be held off by 1 pawn, right? So it's just like, you know, you've got both your opponent's arms there and you're using 1 hand and he can't use either of his arms. So these pawns are no threat whatsoever. They can't damage a damn thing. I can stick my bishop in there and then probably just start pushing up, gaining space, maybe improve my king, maybe try and come and eliminate that pawn somehow. Problem is that that's 3 jumps for a knight, or 2 jumps to attack the pawn. And there he goes with this. Let's do this move. 2 minutes for white. Bishop defends this. Also defends this square, which means the knight is now free to move around the cabin. Can't go there though. But the knight can come here or here and then attack the pawn. For example, that. Problem is, my king can't attack the pawn from here because it would be putting himself in check on the way there. Another thought, even potentially, but I need to get my king close again, which means moving this knight. I could sack the rook for a bishop and a pawn, which is a slight disadvantage, but I'm +4 right now. Right? I've got an extra knight and an extra pawn. This is the extra pawn. Kinda. Yeah, it is. Pretty much. Cooper, stop licking. Okay, he's down to under a minute now, so he's going to struggle. So I'm thinking something like this. See if I can finish the game with 15 minutes on the clock. Okay. Right. I've got 15 minutes on the clock. Pushy push. Maybe king here. Yep. Takes, knight round to here possibly. But then rook attacks the knight. No real need. Time scramble. Just have to play solid and not lose. Wise words. Knight there. King there. Takes, king takes. Still pretty solid. A bishop and a knight against a rook is not bad odds, especially when you're a pawn up. Okay, let's push there, hit the rook and stop him coming back to this file. Also, pawns on dark squares get in this guy's way, but not this guy's way. Alright, I'm going to play knight here. No, I'm not. No, I'm not, because he attacks it. How's about this and just hit this pawn? He has to do that or that, doesn't he, to defend it? Okay. Interesting. I can push through. There, and I can still push on. Potentially puts my king in the firing line. But let's do it. There's no reason to... I mean, this bishop has to stay here. Has to stay on that square. Otherwise his pawn falls. If that pawn falls, he's got nothing left. Still inclined to move the knight and try and get the king to the square the knight is on. which isn't actually very easy now because I'd have to pass through check. And there are rules against that kind of nonsense. Okay, he's on 20 seconds again. So maybe it's down to Dave and Eddie. And the king. 12, 11, 10. Has to be a winning position. 2 connected past pawns is a very strong advantage. And that is probably what I should be doing here. Okay, brilliant, 1 on time. Okay, good game, good game. Let's hit share. Let's hit PGN. And now I'm going to log in. And we'll have a very quick look at the analysis board. Did I screw up anywhere? Did you notice me screw up anywhere? Oh. Oh, that's good. It's given me the option already. Okay, analysis. Let's go analysis. Oh, that's really interesting. So you don't even have to copy the PGN. You can just go straight in. Okay, let's go review. Right, how did I play? How did my opponent play? I think my opponent played definitely above 800. Definitely above 1,000, I would say. Yeah, look, 80 by white and 89 by me. So it says I played around 2,000. I'll take that. And he played around 1,550. Just goes to show you don't know what you're going to get. No blunders by me, 1 by white. And that was just, yeah, giving away a piece. That's just crazy. But this is nice. I like this. So E4, D5 Scandi. And white is slightly better at this point. But then pushing, computer doesn't like. That's an excellent move. Also excellent. Excellent, I'll take all day long. That's good, but not the best. And that's inaccurate. That's a good move. What's better? Okay. But remember, I was having ideas of that as well. Again, it's less than half a pawn difference, so ignore. Excellent. This is all good stuff. Knight A3 is a mistake. Bishop A3 takes A3 is good, but even better. That was another candidate that we were thinking about. So there they take, and now we are -2. Best move. Excellent move. Inaccurate. Although annoying. That's good. What's better here? Yeah, I suppose. But then the knight can just, I guess, move away. Okay, so we do this. That's not great. We have to trade. Really nothing else for it. And that's a mistake. Should have pushed up in the middle. Okay, anyway, that's just a blunder. He loses his piece. Now I grab the pawn. Better move. Fork. See, the bishop can't go to either of these squares and defend the pawn because my rook controls those squares too. Yeah, and that pawn did actually become a bit of a pain in the arse, didn't it, to be fair? Excellent. Excellent again. And that's not bad. But, you know, this is a peace of mind move. I just want to stop that pawn from progressing. Okay. Best move. Good. Best move again. Wow, hot game, guys. Super. And yeah, we're just, it's a winning position now, right? Particularly after that. It says is good, but better would be dropping the bishop back. Who cares? Right, and then we simply win from there, and we're almost -10. So really, really strong game. Enjoyed that one very much indeed, more than many of the games that I've played today. I hope you enjoyed it too. And I want to thank you for watching, and please subscribe to Chess Bootcamp if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you soon.